where it can do a lot of mass. Oh my god. Yo, this is perfect. This is perfect. Look at all these enemies. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit of lower frames, I can tell. You guys might not be able to tell because the YouTube videos are in 30 FPS, but dude, we just cleared out a full screen worth of husks within seconds. This thing is absolutely monstrous. Alrighty boys, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new explosive weapon slash launcher known as the De-Atomizer in Fortnite Save the World, and of course this is with the retro sci-fi set. Now, normally whenever it does come to weapon reviews, I know there are tons of different playstyles out there which lead to a lot of different, really good loadouts and all that kind of stuff, and really good weapon loadouts. And I normally don't like to use the term best when talking about a weapon. However, I'm probably going to make the exception here and kind of crown the retro sci-fi launcher as one of, if not the best launcher in the game. I cannot wait to show this to you guys. This weapon is absolutely ridiculous. Now, before we do jump into it, I'd like to go ahead and mention that my G Fuel code demonjoefr, is 30% off if you guys would like to pick any of it up. You guys can buy it, make sure to tweet it at me, and I'll make sure to hit you with a follow as a way of saying thank you. But let's go ahead and jump into this, and let's go ahead and talk about the De-Atomizer. Now, whenever I was streaming this over on Twitch, we always take a look at new weapons over on there. I really wasn't impressed by this weapon at first. I really didn't think it was that good. However, I did spend some time and I refined the perks and I refined a hero loadout based around this weapon, and it's definitely ridiculous. The single target damage, the multi-target damage, the spread of the radius of this thing it's ridiculous. This weapon is insane. So if we take a look at the description, it says explosive weapon, launcher, retro sci-fi. It fires a ball of energy that explodes on contact and sends out piercing energy projectiles, and it doesn't consume ammo and has very low durability. Now the perks that we're looking at is a double crit damage, crit rating, durability, and the reason that we went with this is because in this slot right here you have cooling rate and heat capacity, essentially a reload speed and mag size, so your weapon can overheat and then you have to cool it down. However, it's really not a problem, and you definitely want to go with durability over any of these roles. And of course we went with a crit build because whenever it comes to explosive weapons, being able to crit on multiple enemies at the same time is fantastic. The more enemies you shoot at one time, the higher chance you have of a crit because it's going off on multiple enemies. Crit builds on explosive weapons are always a go-to. Now, whenever it does come to the loadout for this weapon, I cannot stress this enough, Rex Jonesy is absolutely fantastic. What he's going to do is that every 1 second he will add 9% of current health to the damage of your next ranged weapon hit. And at first I kind of didn't think that Save the World counted explosives as ranged weapons. I thought they just counted them as explosive weapons. However, if you do check the schematic, it actually does say ranged right there, so we do know that it does work with Rex. Now, the team perk of course is Blast from the Past. We went with Saurian Hide and Focus from the Dinosaur Heroes, Faster Explosions from Penny, Plasma Arc from Cyberclops, and Coconuts from Barrett. This is going to allow us to heal, allow us to quote-unquote bullet chain, give us extra damage in general, energy, and armor. So this loadout is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to show you guys exactly how much damage you can do with it. We're going to go in a power level 124 eliminate and collect and cause absolute mayhem with the De-Atomizer. Do always keep in mind that whenever I am in a party by myself, I'm not getting buff damage or health. Do keep in mind that teammates will buff your overall stats, so you can do even better with this weapon with a full squad. But let's go ahead and jump into this mission and kind of showcase exactly how much mayhem can be caused with the De-Atomizer. Alrighty boyos, so here I am in game with the De-Atomizer, and this exactly is what it's going to look like whenever you fire it. So of course we are in an eliminate and collect mission. There's kind of no time to kind of take a break because there's constant enemies being thrown at you, which is fantastic for this weapon because as you guys can see, it definitely clears them out pretty quickly. Yeah, this thing's ridiculous. The damage on this thing's ridiculous. The blast radius is ridiculous. This thing does some massive damage. We're in a game by ourselves, power level 124, and destroying everything on screen without even trying to. I put on Twitter the other day that I really hoped that this weapon was going to be overpowered, and even though my first impressions of this weapon were not great, now that I've refined my build and refined the perks on it, this thing is absolutely unstoppable. Yeah, I'm just kind of letting the gameplay speak for itself at this point. I'm going to stop doing that and actually explain why it's good. So, of course, with this weapon, you have a huge blast radius. You also have it to where every single shot that you fire, you're going to have projectiles flying in every which way after it hits the ground or after it hits an enemy or whatever. It's fantastic. Another great thing about this weapon, of course, being its blast radius, which makes its crit potential absolutely out of this world. For those of you guys that do not know how crit works on a launcher, basically when you shoot your projectile does not have crit assigned to it individually, however the enemies do. So if I shoot a group of 5 husks, 5 of those husks could get critted on, or only 3, or only 1. Having a huge blast radius for this weapon is absolutely fantastic because you are able to hit more enemies, therefore increase your potential for crit way more than your average explosive weapon. I would definitely say that the radius of this explosion is far well above average, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's really, really good. Of course, the projectiles that do come off of it as well are very good and actually doing damage, and all of this also does play, or kind of go into play with Cyberclops. Using Cyberclops in this loadout increases your reach on hitting multiple enemies by tenfold. You're going to be hitting a group of enemies, you're going to be hitting them with the initial blast, with the projectiles, on top of all the chaining that goes between all those enemies. And let's keep in mind that this weapon does have a crazy amount of damage that does come with it. So those chained, kind of energy chains or anything like that, they're going to do massive amounts of damage as well. Another thing to keep in mind with this weapon is that it does destroy buildings quite easily. So you're able to shoot it at a building, and it's very much like the Obliterator or the Cannonade in that sense, where it can do a lot of oh my god. Yo, this is perfect. This is perfect. Look at all these enemies. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit of lower frames, I can tell. You guys might not be able to tell because the YouTube videos are in 30 FPS, but dude, we just cleared out a full screen worth of husks within seconds. This thing is absolutely monstrous. There's no other launcher in the game that can compare to this. Now, one thing I will say, the shortcoming of this weapon, there are 2 shortcomings that I noticed comparatively to other weapons. Now, this weapon for some reason limits your range for no reason. If you do shoot up, or you shoot anywhere, this weapon is only going to go 3 tiles out, and I do not know why it does this. I don't know why the devs thought that would be a great idea. If it didn't have such a limited range, this weapon would be like an 11 out of 10 on the scale of launchers. I don't know why they did decide to limit its range. I really wish I could snipe stuff across the map with it, but maybe they saw this as being a problem and this weapon being even more overpowered than it is right now. But that's pretty much the only shortcoming, that and the impact. If you are going against very high level husks, what I notice is that they aren't always going to be getting knocked back properly. The Santa's Little Helper is fantastic for this, but I really don't find it much of a problem in casual games with the De-Atomizer, as most stuff is going to die in the first to second shot anyways, so impact really isn't going to be a big deal. Another great thing about this weapon, and using it with Rex Jonesy in particular, is that you're not locked to only using this weapon. Of course, you can use it as much as you want, just about, because the durability is absolutely fantastic. But one thing I do like... Oh... One thing I do like about using this weapon with Rex Jonesy is that because of the way that Rex Jonesy works and how he pretty much buffs anything that has range to it, you're not locked to only using this rocket launcher. Of course, I can pull out my boom bow, I can pull out like a duet or anything that's like slow firing, and still be able to do really good damage without only locking myself to the De-Atomizer. Now, just like every other launcher, this weapon also does have a shortcoming when it comes to propanes. One thing that really did disappoint me was that I was hoping that this weapon would be very similar to the Plasmatron in the sense that it would not ignite propanes, because if you were to shoot a propane on the floor with the Plasmatron, it would not ignite whatsoever. And I was kind of hoping for the same thing with this weapon. Of course, it was a little bit of an unrealistic expectation, as it is a explosive weapon. However, the retro Sci-Fi set just isn't your normal set of weapons, and they've definitely been weird, and they've definitely been pretty quirky and amazing as well. But at the end of the day, what exactly do I think of the De-Atomizer? At first, I thought the weapon was just merely average or above average. I I thought this thing was collection book material. I thought it really didn't mean much of anything. Spending a little bit more time with it, being able to perk it up, being able to get the proper build with it, and you know, actually test it with Rex Jonesy, because previously we had Rex Jonesy in the support slot because I didn't think it really was going to be all that great. And using it with Rex Jonesy, using it with these perks, and using it against these massively, you know, pretty high level for a solo mission enemies, yeah, we are looking at what seems to be the best launcher in the game by far, and I'm definitely not afraid to say that. I do want to hear your opinions in the comments down below of what exactly you feel about the De-Atomizer. For me personally, this thing will shred every single thing on your screen with ease. That's how I personally feel about it, but you really don't need to take my opinion when you can just watch the gameplay going on right now and see it happening before your very eyes. But like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This thing is definitely going to be far more overpowered and far more superior in a full squad, and you can only imagine the damage output that you could put out, as I'm only solo and I'm getting no buffs whatsoever from any teammates. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for me, and that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly do appreciate it. I'm just going to continue basically slaughtering husks with this thing for probably another few missions before I edit this video, because I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah guys, make sure you use the right perks, make sure you use the right loadout, and this thing will definitely treat you right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly do appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you did like it, dislike it if you did not, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.